The process of initiation and activation. As we are traveling our path of enlightenment, as we go forward in our soul evolution, we discover such things as initiation on our path. Initiation is an actual experience that we go through that helps us to reveal the mysteries of life within ourselves. There are many initiations into the mysteries. Some are minor initiations and some are major initiations. As we travel the path of enlightenment, we discover that we are made up of mind, body, soul, and spirit, and these four things equate to earth, air, fire, and water. These are the four baptisms or the four initiations that we experience continually throughout our journey. As we are going through our path of enlightenment and discovery, we find that there are challenges along the way. These challenges sometimes on all levels of our being, it seems. We feel as if we have to scream uncle. We feel as if we can't go any further. We feel as if all the world is against us. But ultimately, what we are challenging is our own inner belief structure. Our reality is based on our beliefs. Whatever it is that we believe is true to us. Therefore, in order to move beyond these truths, in order to move into a new reality, we must challenge our belief structures. These are the initiations that we experience as we grow and gain more momentum in our expansion of consciousness. It is through the dimensional doorways that we experience the light of beingness that we are. As we travel within ourselves, we find that there are many tools, many books, many exercises along the way that assist us. We learn about forgiveness. We learn about self-love. We learn about the divine. We learn about guides. We learn about teachers of light. We learn about angels. We learn about ourself. We learn about compassion, understanding. We realize that we've been unhappy most of our life and that we truly don't even know what happiness is. We discover we are impatient and that we need to learn about peace and harmony. These are the challenges that initiation holds for us. For as we discover that we are one in the same with what it is that we want, then we can become such. Until we actually become aware, until we have accepted these truths into our beingness, we are in a period of initiation. Initiation has to do with, once again, a baptism of earth, air, fire, and water, or a baptism of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So as you are going through your challenges on an inner level, you find that you are tested or testing yourself on all of these different levels. You open yourself to your soul and your spirit in your meditations, allowing the energy of your higher self, or the divine essence that you are, to assist you with bringing the energies that you need in to transmute the energies of the mind and the body, and also to accentuate these with new programs, new conditions, new awarenesses, and new understandings. As you go through a process of initiation, you often feel very isolated and alone. You know that the journey has to do with you and you only. You know that you can speak about what the trials are with others, but that they cannot comprehend unless they themselves are experiencing those same trials. What you find as you are going through what I will call a major initiation is that your dream state will change. You will begin to have perhaps some lucid dreaming, where you are aware in the dream that you are watching what is going on. You may have some past life dreams come up, where you are aware that you are moving through different incarnations in time. You may meet some beings in your dreams that seem like very natural people to be there, that are actually your guides and your teachers working with you. You may dream about things in very vivid, rich colors, maybe even luminescent colors. You will find that you are receiving guidance and intuition on all levels of yourself, and you may feel as if you are a stranger in a strange land, that something inside of you shifts and changes, and you're not even the same person that you knew yourself to be before. It's a birthing of sorts. When we speak of the baptisms, it's a rebirth. It's a part of you that reaches a new height of awareness and understanding. You go through a very dark tunnel, it seems, like the birth canal, and while you're in the birth canal, you feel as if you have to push very hard to come out the other side. But ultimately, with the inner strength that you developed through your lifetime, you find that it is truly the other side that you are looking for. The forward momentum, the newness, the adventure. We go through this process very seriously because we are such serious adults. But indeed, to take ourselves so seriously and to forget that as a child we went through these changes so much simpler, so much easier, and so much readier. And now that we are older, we feel that our growth process should be over, when indeed it is ultimately just begun with these levels of ourself, with understanding that we are both an adult and a child. And in so being, the child part of ourselves, the innocence, the purity, that part which has no fear of the forward momentum, is the part that we need most when we are going through the rebirth process. Ultimately, after we make it through an initiation, or we make it out the other side and realize that we have been born again into a new aspect of memory of ourselves, into a new level and dimension of awareness within ourselves, there is always a celebration that is held. It seems as if there is a great party that is going on, that is celebrating with us that we have made it to this next step or this next level in our awareness, in our consciousness. Our entire spiritual family celebrates with us. Our guides, our teachers, our angels, all of our soul companions who too have been going through the same processes that we have been going through. All are part of the celebration. And this is how we know that we have actually made it to a new height, to a new level of awareness and consciousness. Sometimes these rebirthings are of fire, which is spirit. Sometimes they are of the emotions. Sometimes they are of our mind. And sometimes they are of our body. Ultimately, it is all four of these together that take us to the new height, the new level of understanding and development that we must reach. An initiation may take several months, may take a year. There may be smaller initiations inside of larger initiations. Let us say that an initiation was a 9-year span, and that within that 9 years, you actually elevated all four aspects of yourself: earth, air, fire, and water, body, mind, soul, and spirit. So you would also go through all of the minor initiations or experiences necessary for each one of those parts to develop so that the whole could accelerate to the next level in its soul and spirit evolution. Once you have reached this ascended state, then it is time for what we call the activation period. But before the activation, after the celebration, there is a time span of waiting. I call this the in-between phase. In the in-between phase, now that you have accomplished, succeeded, excelled, and made it to the next step, there is a period of time of assimilation before the activation process of what your next level of learning will be about. During this in-between phase is when people get frightened, they get scared, and they are afraid that they haven't really accomplished what it is that they felt themselves go through. Ultimately, they do not know how to relax during this phase and do not know how to allow the assimilation process to take place. As human beings, we are impatient. We want immediate results, and we know that we passed, and we know that we're there, so we can't understand why we just can't see everything that is ahead of us. Ultimately, because we live in a third-dimensional world, we also are subject to the energies and the momentum of the timing in this plane, in this dimension. Everything has to filter down through your spirit, soul, mind, and body. The DNA structure within your own body needs to resonate and change with what the changes are about. The body has to realign and readjust itself, as do the emotions, as does the mind, as does the soul, as does the spirit. This is not an overnight process, and it's also not a long process. It may take anywhere from a month to 2 months to 3 months before the activation process begins. And what is activation? Activation is that part of the process where you are actually in a momentum that is taking you forward into the new dimensional frequencies of what your learning will be. While you are within activation, you feel very hyper, very excited, very energetic, ready to go, filled with ideas, complexities, opportunities. Sometimes so much activation occurs that you're not sure how to focus your energies at first and which direction to go in, for it seems that there are so many directions that are now open to you. At the beginning of an activation period, it is important to allow and open yourself to just be in the moment. Be in the moment as much as you possibly can. In other words, do not allow the rational mind to dictate who you are any longer. For indeed, the transformation that you have gone through in your initiations is allowing you to become more and more what your essence is about, what your true desires and your higher purpose are about. The mind may still be stuck in the past. It may still want to think in the old ways, the rational consciousness, the rational mind. There is also a time of reprogramming of this part of the mind and telling it that it has a purpose and it serves a purpose, and that purpose is to serve you. That it does not dictate to you who you are or where you will be going, but to assist you in what your choices and decisions are. Once you establish who is boss here, or who is in control, so to speak, for the rational mind indeed wishes to control, then you find that you can be in the moment. And in the moment is where we create, it's where we manifest, it's where we understand, it's where we partake of the gifts that we have now accomplished and developed. These gifts indeed are our awareness, for they can be nothing else. In the activation period, You begin to play with your newfound energies, your newfound awarenesses. You begin to experiment with them so that you can now develop and use them in a new way in your life. To enhance the old, not to discard the old. To accentuate you and everything it is that you do. To expand and take in more of what life is. To experience a greater height, a greater depth, a greater you. Activation comes from all aspects of yourself working together, understanding that there is a new lesson ahead. There is a new part of the road to explore. There is a journey that you've been wanting to go on that you've never, ever been sure you could accomplish. And now you know that you are ready. During an activation period, you may hear voices from spirits. You may have direct visions, contact, communication, or you may simply receive a great deal of information intuitively. Either way, during activation, you will receive a great deal of information. This information is being shared with you because you have excelled and gone beyond your old belief structures. You're now ready to share your messages with the world. You're now ready to teach them, put them down on paper, help others with them, extend them in any manner that feels natural and comfortable to you. I guess trust is the big key phrase that we should put in with activation. Trusting that you deserve and that you are worthy to have accomplished what these feats have been in your life. Trusting that you are special, that you are connected, and that you deserve to move forward in your journey of light and life. This is what is mandatory during this phase of development. So open yourself to the process of initiation and activation continually, knowing that there is nothing to fear but fear itself. There is no thing, no one, no place who has control over your life, only you. Take your power into your own beingness. Assist the universe and God in the only ways that you know how, and trust that those are the best ways of all. May you be in light.